In this tutorial, we'll see how to set up BIK 0.4, a plugin for Unreal Engine, to use the third-person character to produce appropriate collision responses while jumping, running, and walking across the world. Let's set up the provided skeleton to use the third-person standard UE4 mannequin. So we're going to right-click on the skeleton inside the characters bot folder and go to skeleton and choose assign skeleton. And here you can choose UE4 mannequin skeleton. Press accept and save your skeleton. So we'll begin by editing the third-person character, which has been imported using the standard third-person blueprint template. For visualization and demonstration purposes, I'm going to replace the standard mannequin with a custom character, which has been mapped to the standard mannequin as well. Next, I will add the BIK component. Here there are certain settings you can play around with, but for this demonstration, I'm going to leave them to their default values. Next, we'll go to the mannequin third-person animation blueprint. And here you can see that the default output from the state machine is directly being fed into your final animation pose. In order for BIK to take effect, we're going to route this output through the BIK animation node, like so. Next, you need to set up some collision responses to your hand and feet in the IK solver node down here. So in the IK collision resolver array, there you can see that there are collision channels for the hands and the feet effector bones, which are currently being set up for visibility. So let's go to our project settings, collision, and here we'll need to set up two new trace channels. One for terrain collisions, and we'll set the default response to ignore. And the next for hands, and we'll set the default response to ignore again. Now let's go back to our animation blueprint and set up the collision channels for the hands to the hand trace response channel, and likewise for the next collision response channel. And for the collision response, for the collision resolvers, which are using the feet effector bones, we're going to set the collision channel to terrain. Similarly for the next one. Let's compile, save, and close this blueprint. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to set up the collision response channels for the geometry in your world. So here let's go to our world outliner and select all the geometry that belongs to the stairs and the floors. And here in the details panel you can see that I've already highlighted collisions, and you can see that the default response to terrain has been set to ignore. So we're going to set that to block. Make sure your collision preset has been set to custom. We're going to save the map and let's try to play. So as you can see that the character now produces appropriate collision response to the stairs, and similarly for the inclined planes here. So in order to compare against the default settings, let's go back to our animation blueprint and route the output of the state machine directly to the final animation pose, and let's play again. As you can see that the feet of the character do not respond appropriately to stairs or to the inclined plane. So let's go back and route it through the BIK node. And there you go. So this is how you would set up BIK to respond correctly to ground collisions. So let's go back to the third-person blueprint. And here we'll add an effector component. Here we need to specify the bone which will be controlled by this effector. Let's use hand_L. Let's go to the viewport and compile. And let's try to bring it to a desired location and press compile again. And you can see that the hand is being now affected by this effector. So we can now play and see that the hand follows the character appropriately. So let's go to the BIK folder, and here I've set up an effector actor. Actually, let's create a new actor. Let's add a skeletal mesh. Let's choose our bot skeleton, and for animation blueprint we'll use the third person anim blueprint. And let's add a BIK component. Now let's drop this character into the world, and let's drop an effector actor as well. Now the effector actor has been set up. If you choose the effector component inside the details panel, we can see that it has been set up to affect the hand_L bone for the skeleton. So next we need to assign this effector to the BIK component inside the actor for the bot character here. So we're going to go back to the details panel, and we're going to choose the BIK component, and under the effector actors we're going to add an element and pick our effector. So let's try to bring it in a reasonable location. Let's drop into the viewport and hit simulate, and then you can see that the actor is being controlled by the end effector. So you can use this kind of setup to use world objects such as doorknobs, boxes you need to lift, in order to control the character positions and the character IK solutions. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you enjoyed playing with the plugin. Thanks for watching.